The AI Crowd Night. Once upon a time in the future, there was a beautiful, strong, and brave creature with the name of AI Crowd Knight. At first glance, his looks were reminiscent of a typical knight, with his protective shield and impression of strength. Watching more closely, though, one could make out what it actually was that made him so special. The AI Crowd Knight was controlled by over 100 tiny little people, a species called Aragons, who, divided into specific responsibility areas, took care of his health and success in life. At heart, the AI Crowd Knight was a true hero. To keep the heart beating, a group of Aragons known as product development and product management worked as pacemaker. Living so close to the heart, of course, was very special, and probably one of the reasons they worked so tirelessly taking care of his heart. Going up to the brain, the left hemisphere was populated by several CXO Aragons. They were in charge of the whole organism, deciding in which direction to go and how to deal with major challenges concerning the collaboration of the little Aragons within the AI Crowd Knight, which obviously determined his health, as well as everything concerning the outside world that he lived in. Research Aragons lived in the right hemisphere, navigating the AI Crowd Knight to keep up with innovation and follow up visionary long-term goals. Eyes, ears, and mouth belonged to the marketing and communications Aragons, who passed on all sorts of smartly packaged information about the AI Crowd Knight to the outside world, as well as received such information and shared it among all Aragons. Then there were the sales Aragons, living in the right hand. They were the ones offering and showing the AI Crowd Knight's special strengths to the rest of the world, connecting to all those who wanted to become a little bit more like him. The left hand belonged to the implementation Aragons, who specialized in fulfilling the outside world's wishes whenever the other hand, the sales Aragons, agreed to something. That way, the two hands worked very closely together and passed the ball between each other. Fortunately, support Aragons lived in the arm right next to the implementation hand, so that they too could work towards making the outside world happy. In his right hand, overseen by the sales Aragons, the AI Crowd Knight carried an impressive flag, supervised by the operations Aragons. They were the ones the outside world looked up to as they worked tirelessly to show the AI Crowd Knight's colors. Then, of course, there were the legs. Before the AI Crowd Knight had grown this big, he had looked a little bit different. Therefore, Web Projects Aragons lived in one of the legs. They also engaged in fulfilling the outside world's wishes, just with a different focus, and, together with the operations Aragons, made for a nice and nourishing base that the AI Crowd Knight could stand upon safely. The other leg was housing space to all services Aragons. Even though they again had their specified responsibility areas, such as Eine, employee services, and HR, they all shared the goal of making each other's lives easier so that the AI Crowd Knight could live a good life. As mentioned earlier, the AI Crowd Knight always carried his protective shield. The shield was navigated by legal, and not only gave him great protection, but also a good amount of self-confidence on his life journey. Last, but not least, the finance Aragons living in the AI Crowd Knight's lungs took care of his breathing, making sure that there was always enough air available, not only in the present, but also in the future, and while the AI Crowd Knight was taking important steps and moving around in the world he lived in. Through the AI Crowd Knight's veins ran IT automation blood. IT automation was what kept the AI Crowd Knight alive. It also connected every part of his organism, fully operated by his heroic heart. Apart from this, the IT automation blood gave him the necessary strength to devote his attention to his true mission. The mission he felt truly passionate about with all his heart was to build a bridge between the old and the new economy. In the old economy, companies with high-quality products could be amazingly successful. With the internet giants of the new economy, though, it got to be a huge challenge to keep up innovation-wise. Therefore, the AI Crowd Knight wanted nothing more than to strengthen and provide the old economy with artificial intelligence to give time back to them, so they could focus more on innovation and have a chance to stand up to the internet giants and keep up with the development of the world. The world the AI Crowd Knight lived in surely was an exciting and a very dynamic one too. He knew he could contribute significantly to designing this world. He was strong and passionate, and the time seemed right to build a new civilization which made the most use of artificial intelligence. Anything seemed possible. Ideally, he wished that no living creature ever had to spend their lives doing jobs that did not have much soul to them. He dreamed of a happy and fulfilling world in which machines took care of all repetitive and boring tasks, and also, because they were able to include super large amounts of data, support all living creatures in their decision-making, even when it came to their health. There were not many creatures of his kind. Of course, he was aware of his special nature and took healthy pride in it, but at the same time he could also be described as humble, never showing off that his brains and heart had quite the impressive development story to them. The AI Crowd Knight only had one natural enemy: his fear of the twins' robophobia and Luddite. They were both strong opponents of artificial intelligence and had tried everything they could to stop him from his mission. Robophobia and Luddite believed that artificial intelligence was evil and would do more harm than good. At least Luddite's reasoning was mostly fed by the fear of change. What he usually forgot was that the world had always been changing, and that it also will always be changing. There was no sitting it out. Robophobia's main fear was that machines could take over the world, leaving her and her kind far behind. The AI Crowd Knight, on the other hand, was convinced that there was enormous value to be found in new technologies that did not even come close to anything that would theoretically be able to do the harm that robophobia was worried about. Luddite's main fear was that artificial intelligence could take away his job. Being very empathetic, the AI Crowd Knight could actually understand this kind of fear. From his point of view, though, if this perception hindered progress and prevented taking advantage of new technological possibilities, it would be like being stuck with carriages instead of cars. It was necessary, therefore, he thought, to keep up an open dialogue about how to deal with this new societal challenges, think ahead, and design smart solutions together. As excited and happy as he was to be the creature he was, he sometimes, just sometimes, felt a little bit lonely. Most other living creatures he had ever observed did have somebody else whom they could talk to or somehow belonged with. Of course, he did not have much time anyway, and maybe it would even be counterproductive for his life mission if there was somebody. Also, he obviously was not really alone, consisting of all the tiny Aragons. Just as he once again sat thinking about how surprising it was that he even had these thoughts and feelings, even though his heart was a machine. All of a sudden, his eyes and attention were caught by another creature walking past and smiling at him with the most beautiful smile he had ever seen in his life. The AI Crowd Knight, so strong and well-armed, suddenly felt surprisingly weak in his knees. Still, he just couldn't resist walking over and asking for the creature's name. "Deep Mind," they whispered. "It is nice to meet you."